This week was week 7 of my final major project, and by far the most productive week I've had yet. This is because I completed a majority of my production and I made a good start on my post-production. Actually, I was concerned that I'd be behind my project since last week I was unable to film, but that was rectified since I made extremely good progress on set this week, and now I only have one scene left to film, which is the beach scene. The film included mostly repeats of shots from the previous production session, but from different angles. This was of vital importance as my film is one actress playing two characters, and I couldn't have a one-sided film where the shots were only one person. Doing this allowed me to merge both the filming days together, forming a cohesive product. A problem was that I made a mistake of missing out on recording some shots, which were even on my shot log. Luckily, they were mere close-up shots of hands, so it wasn't difficult to film them separately the day after. It was a slight hassle to get the lights though, as the media technician wasn't in at the time. In hindsight, this is an error of preparation on my part, and if I had to do this again, I would have put the equipment out beforehand so that no time would have been wasted. Nonetheless, I managed to improvise and use various phone tools to light the set, then edited the shots in production so that they were cooler and matched the others. Another problem on the set that required improvisation was the fact that due to the layout of the room we were in, I would be unable to film a shot in which corpses lay on the ground. This meant that I had to change the way I would show this to the audience, so instead I opted to make the shot on Photoshop by taking pictures of my cars, which I had previously taken on my screen test, and framing them on a wall with red crosses on them to portray that they are dead. I overlaid a glitch kind of effect on them, which I had learned to use when I was creating my posters for the film last week. I personally found these really satisfying to make, as I used elements from last week's work that had been less important at the time. Now having roughly 85% of the footage from my project, I began the post-production phase. This is my favourite part in filmmaking. It was my favourite part of the project last year, and it's what I hope to pursue as my career in the future. I began by chronologically ordering and cutting up all of the clips in the timeline, but some of them required some colour grading as the lighting was slightly different on the respective shooting days, something that I wished I was more wary of when I was filming. To make them match, I increased the saturation of the clips from day 2 of filming to bring them up to the other footage colour levels. I also worked with some special effects of film. At first I planned to use the software Adobe After Effects for this, but instead settled on using the software Premiere Pro, as I'm a lot more comfortable and experienced with this project and it felt it would be more efficient for me to use something that I had experience with. I did get to use a new piece of software this week though, which was the audio editing program Audition. This was recommended to me by a friend, so I tried to use it to learn and expand my knowledge of audio editing. The skills I have in various software will hopefully become helpful in the future in filmmaking. In Audition, I altered the voice I recorded, the intercom system voice, to sound futuristic and robotic, eventually coming to a point I was happy with. I implemented this into my film to give it a futuristic feel, robot voices being a common trope to future-based sci-fi movies. Next week, I plan on filming the beach scene, which will be the final part and be the end of production. Overall, and especially compared to last week, I'm happy with how much work I've been able to do, as well as the quality of my work.